everybody. I am Penny Fraser. I am the host of the Inspiration Lounge podcast. And today I have a very special guest, Traci Hines, and I would love to introduce you to her. Please tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were in the 40 over 40 Bombshell experience, and I first heard your story through that, and I am so happy to be here sharing your story with our listeners.
Well, thanks for having me, Penny. My name is Traci J. Hines. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here and chat with you for a little while. My story, oh man, my story starts so many years ago, but the one thing that has been present in my life is the love of love. I have always been infatuated and in love with love. I like to see people in love and all of that. And that has promoted me writing about love. I write poetry. So I wrote a book called Love Addiction that has several poems in there. And the poems kind of tell a story about my love life experiences, because that kind of is what motivates me to write.
Excellent.
You'll see a lot in that. There's a lot of me in that. A lot of my soul was revealed through those poems.
That's amazing. And was there any type of experience or catalyst that kind of got you down this path of writing about love?
I don't know that it was any one thing. I remember as far back as being 9 years old is when I remember that I started journaling. And in that journal was always about the things that I loved, how I loved my mother and my brother and my father and all of that. And then I started creating art, on construction paper, the things that I loved, like about sunsets and sunrises. I would paste them on and write little words about it that made me feel good. But everything was just focused about love. I don't think there was any one life experience. I think the way I came up with loving parents, although they were divorced, I felt the love, I felt the love of my parents, so I guess that's what brought me to writing about love. And then I love so deeply, once I decide to love someone, it's forever. Even if you treat me bad or you're mad at me, I may be able to separate that. I still will always love you, but I may love you from afar. That's pretty much how it goes for me.
Wow.
And in relationships, it's an intense love, it's deep. I don't always express it, but it's deep. It's very deep.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And what was it like writing about love, writing poetry? Were there any challenges along the way?
The words just came to the paper. They flowed out of me. There were no real challenges in the writing. The challenge was in revealing the writing. That was the challenge, because I had written many of these poems years before I was published. Because as I date or was married for a few years, and after the marriage, I had other relationships. So as I'm in a relationship, the love poems just flow right out of me. But the challenge was really bringing it to the public. That was the challenge, because the poems reveal so much of my soul.
Yes.
And sometimes being that vulnerable is tough. It's very, very tough. But once I got over that, it was easy. And then, the organizing and trying to make everything nice and pretty to fit in the book, and all the photography in the book is my photography, and I'm an amateur, not a professional. But I wanted the book to be something that people could relate to. Sometimes you get books and they're so over the top.
Right.
This was very simple, very easy. It's a simple read. So I had a good time doing that, putting that together. But the challenge was exposing my soul. That was it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I love your creativity, how you start with the writing, and then when you're younger you did some art pieces, it sounds like, and then you got into capturing what you were expressing on film. So that is amazing. And can you tell us what type of resources gave you inspiration along the way? Were there books, podcasts, mentors, Anything that kind of sparked your creativity?
You know, I had many of the poems written already that I never shared. And there was a gentleman that I was dating at the time. And he says, "What are you doing? You're always writing." I said, "Oh, I write poetry." He goes, "Really?
Yeah.
Let me read one." I was like, "No, no, no, you can't, you can't. I can't let you read it." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because it's too personal. You'll know too much." And he's like, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah.
So he read one and he said, "You should publish this. You should put a book together. This is really good." I said, "You think so?" He said, "Yeah." And he says, "And you should start memorizing so you can recite and do all of that." And, you know, so I thought about that and I said, "Okay, well, let me try." But Maya Angelou is one
Oh,
of
yes.
my
She's
favorite
amazing.
poets, you know.
Yes.
So her work and the way she talks and the way she inspires, that has always resonated within my soul. So I will say that she was probably my inspiration. You know, I never thought I was good enough. And it's not about being good enough. It's about being true to who you are. And I don't write for fame and fortune. I write for expression. I feel like other women have those same feelings that I have and may not be able to express them. And if they read something that I've written, it may spark something in them that will bring light to something else.
Exactly.
So that's what it's about for me.
That actually leads into my next question. If someone is feeling like they want to write poetry or they want to write a story, and maybe they have imposter syndrome, they don't think they're good enough, or they don't even know where to start, what are some tips you can give some of the ladies out there to kind of get them on the path of expressing themselves through words?
I think journaling is the best way to start. You know, if you want to write, then you have to write.
Yeah.
You can't think about it. You can't do anything that isn't writing. If you really want to write, you have to write. You know, I also do a podcast. I also would write things for people, poetry for their ex, for not their ex, for their husband. This lady had a Valentine's Day and she wanted me to write something for her. So I wrote something for her to present to her husband. But if you want to write, you have to write and go out and just do it. And then just trust yourself. You know, nothing is perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. So start there and then develop and read. You know, the more you read, the better your writing becomes.
That's true.
Yeah, the more you read, the better your writing becomes.
Are you reading anything right now that kind of inspires you?
I am.
Some of your top like 2-3 books that you've read?
Right now, I am reading Kerry Washington put out like an autobiography about her life. That's what I'm reading right now. And I find it very interesting because, you know, movie stars seem to have a different life. But when you read this book, you can see that she came from the same basic life that most of us have. And what makes her different is that she went after her dreams and, you know, they came to light. So that's what I'm reading now. Before that, I think I read a book called I Am Beautiful. And that was, I forgot the artist. I mean, the writer, but it was a good book. So I've decided that I'm going to continue reading. Once I finish, pick up something else. I dropped off for a little while, but now I'm back to reading again. So
that's great.
More work should come from that.
That's wonderful. And I really love that you're in the 40 over 40. I love that you are able to give your message to a lot of people out there. And through this podcast today, could you kind of touch on the experience you had with the 40 over 40 Bombshell series?
The 40 over 40 Bombshell series was like an awakening for me. You know, you are a fantastic photographer. That's the first thing.
Thank you.
And you guide and you made me feel comfortable. You know, I never thought that I would do a photo shoot. Never. I thought that, you know, I wasn't pretty enough or all of that. All of those things that we say negatively to ourselves. But coming to your studio and doing the different poses and changing the outfits and having the makeup done professionally just opened up a whole different side of me. And that experience led to a second book.
Oh my
that
gosh,
led
that's so
to
great.
affirmation, a book of affirmations promoting self-love and self-care, because there was so much doubt before that 40 over
Mhm.
40. And coming here with you and sitting down and then seeing the finished product,
Thank you.
it just made me feel so much more comfortable in my own skin. And I'm enough, you know? I
Yes.
am enough. I looked beautiful in those pictures, and it really made me feel good. So I thank you for that. It's a wonderful experience. I think
Thank
every
you.
woman should find time to come and sit with you and do a series. I really do
Oh,
believe that,
thank you so
because it
much.
does something inside. It releases something inside.
That's amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's hear about your second book. That's so exciting.
My second book is about, it's a book of affirmations. It's sort of like a workbook. There's pages
Mhm.
in the back where you can journal. And
Yeah.
every day I give you an affirmation that talks about things that we as women should do to promote self-love and self-care.
Mhm.
So many of us have so much doubt about
Mhm.
whether we're good enough, whether we're tall enough, whether we're short enough, whether we have the right shape, all of these different things,
Mhm.
why am I single? How come I'm divorced? Oh, I'm married, but
Mhm.
I'm not happy. There's so many things going on, and we leave ourselves out. So
Right.
I give tips about how to include yourself.
Mhm.
And the one thing that you must always do is love on yourself.
Mhm.
And that means little things, that make you feel good. Matching underwear. Somehow for me,
Mhm.
matching bra and panties that are beautiful makes me
Mhm.
feel good all day.
Mhm.
Taking a bubble bath lit with candles around the side, those kinds of things. And then there's talk that you say to yourself.
Mhm.
You look in the mirror, you say, I am beautiful, and you start to believe it. But you have to do it, and you have to take it. So that's what that
Mhm.
book is about. That book is about promoting self-love,
Oh,
and these things you can do every day. There's a shopping list of things that you should buy. Not very expensive, but there is a
right.
list. So it's called Promoting Self-Love and Self-Care. Affirmations
Well,
promoting self-love and self-care.
this is so great. Well, Traci J. Hines is our guest. Tell everybody where they can find your books and also follow you.
Sure. My books are on Amazon. Love Addiction is one, and the other is Affirmations Promoting Self-Love and Self-Care. And I also have a website, which is Traci J. Hinds, TraciJHinds.com. You'll see me on there. You'll see my work. We have a podcast. We're on a hiatus right now, but we come back
Oh,
talking
that's
about love.
great.
Yep, we have about, this will be
Wonderful.
our 5th season. So I'm
That's
excited to
excellent.
do that.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to catching that, and everybody check out her books. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
And
for having
then,
me, Penny.
oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget, click and subscribe and leave a review. Remember, the magic doesn't end here. Stay tuned and connect with us on social media where we continue the conversation. If you or someone you know has a story that deserves to be heard, reach out because every story matters. This is Inspiration Lounge Podcast, signing off with a reminder that each day is an opportunity to create and capture something extraordinary. Take care, stay inspired, and see you in the next episode. Thank you.